Right then. Um, that was a bit of a mad one, wasn't it? Who'd have thought that United, across 2 games, regardless of the opposition, can put away 10 goals and keep 2 clean sheets? I think that is worth talking about, diving into, celebrating, all the rest of that sort of stuff. I don't care that it was Barnsley, and you shouldn't care that it was Barnsley. Football is about momentum, and United have put in a top draw performance tonight against, yes, admittedly poor opposition, but there's loads to cover, so let's break it down. Now, I've had to watch the game on warp speed. I was trying to catch bits of it. I've been at training, right? I was trying to catch bits of it while I was at training, but it's very hard to do. Now, I've gone back and watched all the goals again, and I think there's so much to talk about in terms of the rest of the game, actually. Like, yes, it was an easy game. I thought United looked sharp. I thought the result was tidy. There's no real dramas there for us. It was just a very dominant 7-0 with a lot of very, very high-quality goals, with actually plenty of candidates for man of the match. And I would say, from what I saw, and I am going to have to go watch it in the next hour, like in full, because I know there's bits I'm going to have missed. I thought the first half looked competitive and the second half looked like a training game. It was absolutely smooth sailing for us in the second half. Now, we've got to talk about Rashford. He was everywhere. From the moment he scored his opener, he was lively. The timing of the runs was nice. The running into different sort of channels I thought was real nice. He kept Barnsley guessing, showed some fantastic feet at times, especially for that opening goal. Second goal in the second half was clinical, a real nice assist from Garnacho. His confidence is building. From what he's done at the weekend to tonight, that'll do him no harm whatsoever. You know, I thought the work that he put in tonight probably raises some questions about how United's wingers are going to get used in the future. You know, him and Garnacho linked up so well that you kind of go, is there a case to be made here to play these guys together? You know, I think you could probably argue that Marcus was man of the match. You know, would you like to see him on the right? Would you like to see him back on the left? Is there options for, we were talking, Damian Ronaldo did a video like, who starts? Who's your first choice out of Xerxes and Højlund? Well, we saw Marcus down the middle at times tonight where he looked great. Have United just on the sly built up like a lot of options in certain positions? I think that's a real positive thing for us to look at. Not perfect, obviously. You've still got, Antony's obviously come away with a goal tonight, but, I don't think he's going to be starting. I don't think he's put himself in the conversation to be a starter. But, there's decisions to be made. Garnacho. That was a real strong performance there from Garnacho. 2 goals, found the net with absolute clinical finishing, calm finishing. Should have had a hat-trick, actually. The assist for Marcus was excellent as well. There was some decent chemistry between him and Eriksen. Obviously, Eriksen's pass to Garnacho for the second was just absolutely class. He is knocking on the door for a regular starting spot. If he keeps his fitness up and if he keeps this knack of just contributing goals and assists whenever he's on the pitch, he's going to get more minutes. Where that comes, that's up to the gaffer to figure out, but he's going to get those minutes. I thought Eriksen in midfield was pure class. Again, I will take into account the opposition. I think you have to take into account the opposition, but I'm not going to caveat that for every single point. You've got to beat what's in front of you, and too often United haven't beaten what was in front of us, and we've just put 7 past the team. I don't give a shit if there's leagues in between us. There's still the requirement to do that. And how many times have United been given lower level opposition and beat them 3-2, 2-1, 1-0 and not looked fantastic doing it? So are we going to be happy when we've actually done our job, put a team to the sword, look real nice doing it, look real controlled doing it? Yeah. So shut up. 96% pass accuracy for tonight for Christian Eriksen. Controlled the tempo of the game with ease. He held the ball well. He made key passes. The technical ability gulf between him and Barnsley was just It made it look effortless for him at times, and the late goals from him. By the way, you know you play in lower level opposition when Christian Eriksen's making front post runs in the 80th minute. I don't think his United career is going to be over anytime soon. I think he's got a lot to contribute still this season. And I think games like tonight remind us why he's still such a good player to have in and around the team, building on what we saw from him against Southampton at the weekend. So Ugarte, of course, we wanted to see Ugarte start. I thought it was a very obvious decision from the gaffer to give him that start at Old Trafford tonight. But there is room for improvement. He was aggressive, potentially overcommitted a couple times, shown a little bit of promise with the physicality, running with the ball a little bit. Probably needs to slow down and play with a touch more composure, but I thought it was a solid debut. Certainly one to watch to see where it comes from him. I don't know if he looked match fit, and maybe that's a bit of an issue with him. But I'm sure he'll come good. Like, match fitness is easily got, and you can see there's a presence about him, can't you? And I'm pretty sure we see him a few more times, and we'll get to the bottom of that presence, I think. Antony. So mixed reviews, I think, from Antony. Did well to convert the penalty and win it. Fair enough. But I think his overall impact remains lacking a little bit. You can tell he's determined to prove himself, right? But I would be determined to prove myself if I was playing for United, and I'm not good enough. There's work right there with him. Like, he cuts about, he puts effort in, but he's just off the pace when it comes to the level of quality that he's got. In the final third, in the middle third, he's just not. He's got a different hymn sheet to everyone else, hasn't he? He's not quite singing the same tune as everybody else, and I think I'm not sure how much of a United future he's got. I think if he's like the last choice of your wingers, sound, but that's a very fucking expensive last choice winger to have. Literally every other winger at the club going to be in front of him. Delo, back to his best a little bit. We saw him inverting real nice. Contributed both with and without the ball, especially in the first half where it was a little bit more competitive. He could be, in with a shout of being United's best fullback at the moment. And I thought from a defensive point of view, again, yeah, I'm not going to caveat yet, but you were playing Barnsley. I know we were playing Barnsley. You don't have to mention it every 5 seconds. But Aaron Maguire and Johnny Evans didn't have a lot to do. Yes, composed. Yes, steady. Night off for him. Wasn't a single shot on target from Barnsley. Kind of explains how dominant United were defensively. Bayern Day was quiet but confident, sweeping up behind the defence. It was just easy, wasn't it? And I think Ten Hag has rotated, which I think was needed. I think there were certain players that, last season he probably wouldn't have rotated, and, the players, obviously Ugarte gets his debut, Collier comes in, Garnacho got a start, Evans and Maguire coming into the team. You want that. It was a bit of a wild team, admittedly. Collier still looks a little bit raw, playing him out of position. He kept it simple, and he probably grew into the game as it went on a little bit. But that ability to rotate wasn't something we've seen from Ten Hag previously. So I think that's a nice positive for us to have. But yeah, man, I mean, can't get too carried away because of the level of the opposition, but also not going to apologise for being absolutely delighted that United have put on a bit of a show tonight. Scored some goals, entertained the crowd. Scored 7 fucking goals. Should we just leave it at that? We scored 7 goals. Am I happy? Yeah. Sorted. You know what I mean? I'll be back in the morning with 5 things and the player ratings. But fucking hell, we just scored 7 goals. Enjoy it in a bit.